You're watching the ACC on ESPN, and it doesn't get any better than this. From Cary, North Carolina, the ACC men's soccer tournament final. Number 1 and number 2 seeds, but more importantly, number 1 and number 2 in the country. And the best offense in Clemson against the best defense in UVA. It's going to be a great game. Here's how they got there. All 4 seeds in the ACC tournament. Top seeds move forward to the semifinals. Clemson took down Pitt. UVA took down Wake. And here we are with the 1 versus 2 matchup. Hey everybody, I'm Dallin Cuff, joined by not 1 but 2 former national teamers. Charlie Davies up in the booth. Kat Whitehill down on the field. We'll get to her in just a second. Chuck, we a lot of times try to figure out how to hype up the game, how to get people in. No need for that. 1 versus 2. This is the big time matchup. What's this like from a player coming into a game like this?
You're excited. The energy is high. It's prime time. The best attacking team versus the best defensive team. There's MLS executives here. There's scouts here. There's agents here. I mean, this is what you want in a college game.
And a trophy on the line. We will have somebody hoisting the hardware afterwards. Now, 14 of the 33 All-ACC performers are in this matchup. Again, best offense against best defense. I know you're worried about certain matchups on each side, offensively and defensively. Smith and Kessler here, what are you focused on?
Kamari Smith, one of the fastest players on the field. He beats you 1v1, and he draws center backs out to space. I spoke to Henry Kessler earlier. He's very aware of it. So the communication with the back line has to be on point for this UVA team when dealing with a speedster like Kamari Smith.
And for the Cavs, they have offensive talent too. Daryl DK, one of the most dynamic physical strikers in the game, but Malik Mbai also was ACC Defensive Player of the Year.
And Daryl DK, probably the biggest presence in college soccer, strong, is able to roll defenders. Malik Mbai has to be smart with the defending, not to dive in and to be conservative. Know when to press and when to drop.
So much talent on this field, future pros, and a future champion will be crowned in just a bit. When we come back, your starting 11s here from Cary, North Carolina.
Virginia and Wake Forest squaring off in the first semifinal. Cross in, looking for DK, couldn't connect. Crofts does, and buries it. Nathaniel Crofts with a rocket.
The second ACC men's soccer semifinal. Oscar Ogren looking long for Tanner Dietrich. Flag stays down, laid off, say he's got the opportunity, and he's got the goal! A smooth finish from the big freshman. And that's how we got here to Cary, North Carolina, and the ACC men's soccer final. 1 versus 2, Clemson versus UVA. Let's start with the UVA starting 11, 4-2-3-1. Joe Bell, midfielder of the year, not in the lineup. He's playing with New Zealand, first team, the senior team. I know Andreas Ullin is a guy you're concerned with at the back, Chuck. We'll talk about him as we move forward. And Clemson, 4-3-3, they roll out. Mike Noonan, Philip Mayaka, freshman of the year, critical to you.
One of the best midfielders in the country. He covers so much ground. He dictates the tempo, and he recovers the second ball. That's what's so impressive to start that attack. So watch for him tonight to be really instrumental. And
one other note, you see James Brighton starting up top instead of Robbie Robinson, the leading scorer for this Clemson team, 3rd in the country in goals per game. He's nursing an injury, but may feature in this game later. Mike Noonan, the coach for the Tigers in his 10th year. He is now the reigning ACC Coach of the Year, just announced earlier this week. He's led them to an ACC tournament championship last in 2014, also to the final in the national final 2015. They lost that game to Stanford. On the other side, George Gelnovac, an institution in college soccer, his 24th year with UVA. He's made it to this game, the finals, 13 times of his 24. However, they have not won this trophy since 2009. He's won 4 ACC tournaments overall, 2 national championships as a head coach, but part of all 7 of UVA's titles as a player, an assistant, and a head coach. We're just getting ready to kick off here. Sergio Gonzalez is our official in the middle. Just about 50 degrees. The sun is shining. It is a cool day. A huge game, to say the least, here, Charlie.
I mean, every college player dreams of playing in a matchup like this. Number 1 versus number 2. They both have quality in abundance. Center backs, attackers, and now everything boils down to this moment, because if you win this game, there's a trophy on the line.
Yeah.
It's the first trophy that these players can win for their school, for their university, for their families, for their friends. This is big time.
Sergio Gonzalez blows the whistle, and we are underway. 1v2 from Cary, North Carolina. Andreas Ullin, the freshman in the back from Norway, steps forward. Out wide to Nathaniel Crofts. Colin Shuttler, first team All ACC goalkeeper, sends it deep, leads the nation in shutouts with 13. That was the defender of the year, Malik Mbai, getting a foot to the ball.
I mean, there's big-time matchups all over the field.
What are you focused on early in this match here with the best offense in the country in Clemson against the most stingy defense in UVA?
Clemson's press. When they press these UVA defenders, how do they play out of the back? They said they're going to be patient. They're going to be calm. They use Colin Shuttler, who's a fantastic keeper with his feet, and they're able to figure out, okay, if they're going to load us on one side, we'll use our keeper to play out the other way. So to see them and see how patient they are with the build-up, I think that's going to be the matchup I'm going to be looking at, is when Camardi Smith presses Euland or Kessler, how do they cope with that? How do they deal with that high, intense pressure that Clemson poses on most teams?
George Marks, the keeper for the Tigers, second team All-ACC. Steps forward. The sophomore had a couple big saves in their win over Notre Dame in the quarterfinals. It ended up being a 3-0 matchup. It was tighter earlier in that game. Grayson Barber stepping onto it. Robin Afemafuna, the senior and captain for the Cavs, getting in with a little tackle.
As you can see, Clemson are great at winning the ball back. They lose it in the attacking third, and then the importance and desire to win it right back to generate another chance is fantastic.
Daniel Steedman comes with the ball up to Iracosa Donaciano. Donaciano's touch a little heavy, showed a little bit of ball to Fernandez. He bumped him off it. And Donaciano working against Philip Mayaka, number 20 in white. He is the freshman of the year, first team All-ACC. He commits a foul there. Takes down Donaciano, who's drawn 2 fouls here in the first 2 minutes plus of play.
Now, Iracosa Donaciano covers the most ground for this UVA team. He gets all over the field, very similar to Philip Mayaka. And now with Steedman dropping into Joe Bell to fill that role, he's now relied on as a number 8, not as attacking-minded as he normally is playing a number 10. So he's got to cover that much more ground and win those second balls. So that battle between him and Mayaka is going to be special.
Axel Gunnarsson tries to bring it down, can't control it. Brett Halsey, the sophomore, and foul was called there by Sergio Gonzalez. It'll be Clemson ball. Now the third member, our crew, Kat Whitehill, joins the group. Kat, what do you got from the sidelines?
Well, thanks, Dallin. It's very interesting, actually. We were learning about Robbie Robinson, and it's not a game-time decision necessarily. It's based on how the game is going for his Clemson team, whether or not he's going to play today. So it's going to be an interesting thing to watch, whether he gets on the pitch in this big-time ACC final.
Thanks a lot, Kat. Again, Robinson, third in the country in goals per game. He's got 15 goals in 15 games. He was the Offensive Player of the Year in this conference. Ball knocked out wide to Justin Malou. He'll try to play it in. Tanner Dietrich gets his feet to it. Ooh, contact in the box. And down goes hard is Henry Kessler. Helped up, though. On Robinson, he has not played in this ACC tournament. He's missed the previous 2 games. What is different? I'll come back to that in a second. I guess we watch the replay here as Kessler goes in with Dietrich.
Dietrich just gets a high foot there.
How is this team different without Robinson, and how will they be affected in a match like this?
Well, with James Brighton up top playing the number 9 position, his hold-up play, he's a typical target striker. Big body, uses his strength well, but is not going to beat you on the dribble. He's not going to shoot from outside. Robbie Robinson is a wild card. He's unpredictable. He can shoot from distance. He can beat you on the dribble. He can combine. He offers much more than James Brighton. But James Brighton, they figured out how to use him well, and they play off him well. He uses his body, and then he makes great runs into the box.
Femafuna trying to block out the sun.
I can tell you, MLS scouts are hoping to get a glimpse of Robbie Robinson against top-quality competition.
There he is standing up right now, waiting just to wonder. We're all wondering if he's going to warm up and hit the field, but you see how effective he's been this year. What's been the biggest difference in terms of his development as a player? I know you've talked to Mike Noonan quite a bit about it.
His mentality, the commitment to the game, preparation, being dependable, being a great teammate. So it's more off the field than on the field. Now, he's developed on the field his quality, his first touch, his ability to combine and take shots from distance, but it's really being a great teammate and getting to practice early and studying film and being an all-around great teammate is where he's really made a lot of progress and taken big steps forward.
He's a dynamic talent, but as you mentioned, the maturity mentally is really what has changed here for him in recent years. As Charlie Asensio gets set to throw it in, sophomore from Atlanta United Academy product. He was all ACC freshman team last year. Started every game at left back this year for Clemson. Mayaka leaves a pass short to Nathaniel Crofts. Donaciano trying to take the shot from deep, does, but comfortably in the hands of Marks. But we've seen Donaciano rip and score from that distance this year.
He does have the ability to shoot from distance, whether it's with power or with the curling ability. But Philip Mayaka, that's an uncharacteristic play there where he takes too many touches. And Coach Newton talked about that. Don't do too much. Play simple. That's what got you here. That's what made you so great for this program. Play one touch, two touch, get it off your feet, and move.
Justin Malou, the junior from Senegal via Montverde Academy, over the ball. Plays it short to Kamarni Smith. Again, Smith top 10 in the nation in goals scored per game, on the ball now. Smith again to dink it forward to Dietrich. Kessler takes care of it.
This UVA team are well disciplined. They're all organized. They drop, they get numbers behind the ball, and when they attack, there's 3 or 4 players.
See Robbie Robinson warming up. Wonder if he's just trying to stay loose. Again, it is chilly out here, just south of 50 degrees. I'm dressed like it's 12 degrees, but you know, some of us are not prepared for this more than others.
I know you have all your hand warmers and...
My hands are not coming out of my pockets, but just there's zero chance. Here in Cary, North Carolina, alongside Charlie Davies, I'm Dallin Cuff. Cat Whitehill down on the pitch. The ACC men's soccer final underway here with the top 2 teams in the nation. DK looks to undercut Grayson Barber there, but Sergio Gonzalez actually says that DK was pushed from behind into that situation. Euland plays it short, and left it short there. Smith almost able to take that off his feet, and George Gelnavash did tell us he was worried about that. Smith's great at pressing, and Euland sometimes, the freshman, is not the most comfortable on the ball and acts a little too comfortable on the ball.
And it's those early game jitters. As a freshman, it's a big-time game. You're playing against the best attacking players in the country. Sometimes you get on the ball and you want to connect those passes, you get a little nervous.
Take a look. You mentioned the press being critical here. Smith all over Euland, almost caused a turnover in a dangerous area.
Try to make it predictable to force him outside and try and jump it, anticipate it. He did get a piece of it, but that's something that you got to be cleaner. If you're UVA, you pride yourself on possession and being able to play out of the back. Well, you got to connect those easy passes.
Potential opportunity. Gunnarsson finds Crofts. Crofts tees it up, deflected by Mbai. Crofts still on it. Takes a hit, goes out for a goal kick.
Crofts has the most shots on this UVA team. He's always looking to get a shot. He doesn't need a ton of space. So watch for him to continue to make those runs from outside to in.
Crofts, a Sheffield United Academy product over in England. Sheffield United having a great season in the Premier League right now. A couple of great wins. If you look at UVA's season overall, it's been a heck of a campaign. Many people thought they would potentially be in this place, and they announced themselves early on in the season, beating Maryland, who was #1 at the time, in the first week of the season, 2-0. They beat Duke later on, who was #2 at the time. Now they have a chance to beat #1 yet again. It's been quite a campaign for George Gelnavash and his crew.
Then you throw in the fact that Joe Bell is not here because he's busy playing full international games for New Zealand. What an incredible achievement for a college player. And it has to speak volume of where this college game is, that you're able to attract kids who are from different countries, foreigners, that have that much quality.
Stepping forward, great tackle by Afema Funa. This ball may fall for Brighton, eventually crowded out there by Euland. But to your point, Bell played in both those New Zealand's friendlies. He played 90 minutes in the first match, a 3-1 loss to Ireland. played today against Lithuania, 45 minutes the second half. They lost 1-0 in that match, but a full senior international, as now this match has been rather chippy back and forth. Cabral Happy Kamseu with the foul here.
He just late all the way. James Brighton got his legs taken out. He was never going to let him get ahead of steam into that final third.
And Kamseu a little worse for wear. He's the one limping coming out of that challenge as Dietrich tries to play it forward to Fernandez. Shuttler picks it up. Kamseu is actually the guy that's in the lineup for Bell. He was a former All-ACC freshman last year, and the sophomore has had some injury issues, and George Galnavash told us yesterday he wanted to play him more, but how they've played, how they've changed their style of play a little bit this year has not afforded as many opportunities. But he's still a very talented player. Mike Noonan said last year when these two teams played, which was a 4-1 UVA win, he was the best player on the pitch.
Typically, he's more of a striker and not so much of a number 10. But because Joe Bell is out, Steedman drops back, then Donaciano comes back to a number 8 role, and then Happy Kamseu fills in that number 10 slot under DK.
DK down now and holding his shoulder. He and Oscar Agren, one of the members of the all-freshman team from Malmo, Sweden. He's got a little physical, and DK went down.
But George Galnavash talked to us earlier and said, my guys are going to foul you. They're smart. If you do beat them, they're going to take you down. Physical. Agren is up for the challenge, and it looks like DK just falls awkwardly. Feet get tangled, comes down.
Just kind of holding that shoulder, his right shoulder. Missed one game earlier this year to injury. The most points any UVA player has had since 2012. 7 goals for a central striker. Not a ton, but 7 assists. He's also drawn a number of penalties and free kicks that have led to goals for UVA, been instrumental to their attack.
He's also built like a linebacker.
We've seen him stiff-arm guys. Bo Jackson, throughout the course of the season. Our condolences to Eddie Folds last week. He was a victim. He went flying. He might still be rolling right now. DK's brother Bright played for Notre Dame, a former All-Big East player, MLS player, back in the 2008, 9, 10 range.
Similar build to his brother Bright, but Daryl DK has a little bit more quality with his feet. He's technically sound.
Smith pops it forward, looking for Barber on the ball. Little 1-2. Flag stays down. Barber tried to cut it back for Brighton. And Yulin gets a foot on there to force the first corner of the match.
Played out wide, Kamari Smith gets Grayson Barber into space. Now what Grayson does so well is he passes and moves, a combination play. Gets his head up, tries to find James Brighton. But UVA did a good job of getting people in place and not allowing that ball to get to the feet.
Smith drives it in. DK gets a piece of it. Pop back out to Smith. Played back to Charlie Asensio. Philip Mayaka on the ball. Mayaka dispossessed again. Not been the smoothest start for the ACC's Freshman of the Year.
Doing too much. Getting on the ball, just play simple.
Transition opportunities. Brighton steps forward. Happy Kamseu pulled Brighton down in a dangerous spot, and will this be a card is a question. As you mentioned, Galnavash said, we will follow you in transition. That is the key to this game, is transitional moments. That's where Clemson really thrives. And one was stopped right there.
They win the ball. Justin Malou gets it to James Brighton, who's on the dribble. He says, let me take a 1v1. Gets fouled by Uland, and now they have a great opportunity here on the set piece. Happy Kamseu clips his legs. He goes down. Now this is an area where Clemson can hurt you. Robbie Robinson has a great strike, but Kamari Smith and Felipe Fernandez have also been known to get shots over the wall and on target.
And Sergio Gonzalez, our official, marking off the 10 yards and backing up the UVA wall. That's the Clemson Tigers triumvirate there. Discuss the strategy. Who do you think should be taking this free kick, and it'll be something maybe a little more complex off the training ground we see here?
I think Kamari Smith is saying, I got this. Let's see where they line up. But I'm confident. I'm the striker. I have 13 goals for a reason. I'm feeling it. Let me have it. But I've also seen Felipe Fernandez deliver some fantastic balls. Now I think do we do a trick play or do we just hit it direct? That's the conversations they're having right now. Let's see where the wall is. Let's see where Colin Shuttler stands on his line, and then we'll make a decision.
Quite a discussion over the ball and quite a wall in front of UVA. Tanner Dietrich in there maybe to screen Shuttler as well. Fernandez and Smith are the two left potentially dressing the ball. It is Smith into the wall. Daniel Crofts breaks out, potentially looking to counter. And Kessler opposite, send it deep. Clemson was picked 5th in the Atlantic Division preseason. They are now the #1 team in the nation for the first time since 2006. Dispossessed in a dangerous area is Charlie Asensio. Daniel Stephen on the ball. They put us all in notice early on. They scored a bunch of goals, but I know they hadn't really played anybody, but they went to Notre Dame, who was top 25 at the time, won 4-2, and I think from that point on, everybody knew what we were dealing with.
The speed of Kamari Smith combined with Robbie Robinson, the technical ability to score the first goal, he took 4 defenders on before putting it in back of the net. You thought, okay, these guys are for real. This Clemson team can hit you in a variety of different ways. They can use the pace, they can stretch the field, and they high press. They're an intense, they give you an intense amount of pressure in that final third, and they're able to cause turnovers, and then they capitalize on those.
It's their second corner of the match. Played short this time to Fernandez. Back to Smith to change the angle, floats it in. And by arguing for a handball there, not going to get it. Coming up tonight, we'll have the USL Championship Final for you. 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 and the ESPN app, of course. Two-time defending champs, Louisville City taking on the Real Monarchs, led by Douglas Martinez, who's 5th in the league in goals this year. That's a great one, 7:30. Check it out. Brett Halsey looking for Happy Kamseu. Falls into the feet of Mayaka. Finds Smith. Malou on the overlap.
Kamari Smith has been involved. He's had 10 touches thus far. He's really getting on the ball.
Malou drives it in low. Good tackle by Robin Afemafuna to get a piece of the ball because Tanner Dietrich was waiting there. It would have been a dangerous opportunity. It ping-ponged around and will be out for the third corner of the match here for Clemson as they continue to mount a little bit of pressure here.
Colin Shuttler does everything to prevent that from getting over the line. But now they're faced with another corner kick.
Smith take it again. Malou gets up. It goes, falls, and it's a goal for James Brighton! The redshirt freshman puts him on the board. 1-0 to the #1 team in the nation.
The corner kick whipped in, and by challenges Shuttler, and guess who's there? James Brighton filling in for Robbie Robinson, doing what a typical #9 striker does, which is be ready for those second balls. Anytime a ball drops in the box, you're there. The fox in the box, the predator. He gets on the scoreboard. Did we really think Clemson wasn't going to score today? They're averaging 3.5 goals for a reason. They're relentless.
His 5th goal of the campaign, and Charlie just alluded to it. They are now averaging 3.56 goals a game coming into this, which is historically good. Before this match, they were above the 3.68 threshold, which hadn't been crossed since 1998, UNC Greensboro. So this group has been historically good. They're on the board already within 20 minutes. How will UVA respond? Well, They're going to have a corner right away.
Well, they responded by getting Daryl Dike into space, getting something from that. They need to utilize his presence more in that final third. Use his hold-up play off him. That's where they've had success. He has 7 assists for a reason, because you can't win those 50-50 duels because he's so big and strong, and he's able to play other players into the attack.
In swinger. Fernandez actually flicked it on. Didn't want to do that. Maybe an opportunity here. Halsey tries to strike it, but it gets deflected. Back out to Donaciano, to Ifemafuna. Daniel Steedman stings it! George Marks down to his left.
Daniel Steedman got a lot of power at that shot, but it was too far. The distance was too great, and it allowed George Marks to get there and make a great save.
UVA, a pretty good response, gets that corner, and then Steedman stings the shot from distance.
The ball pops up. He knows what he wants to do, get a shot on goal, and he stings it. But George Marks, being a great goalkeeper, shuffles his feet, gets in position, and doesn't give up a rebound.
We've talked about a number of times, UVA, the best defensive team in the country, coming tied with the fewest goals allowed. They've now allowed 7. Might be more now. James Brighton on an odd man attack. Pops it out to Grayson Barber. A lot of white jerseys. Playing it across. Still loose. Barber tries to pop it up to Smith. Smith had the chance initially, but couldn't turn it on to net.
Where Clemson hurts you, the open field. They have speed. They get numbers forward. Ball pops out. Grayson Barber tries to find Kamari Smith on the back post, but it's too far behind him. And then he tries to put in the second cross. Here it is. All the space in the midfield, but he couldn't find Kamari Smith. James Brighton was alone at the top of the 6.
You saw Tanner Dietrich there asking for a handball. We'll come back to that in a second if a potential UVA attack. Donaciano turns away. That ball was shot quickly, and it wasn't, there's always discussion, hand to ball, where's the silhouette, and all these rules at the professional level. College slightly different. Was that a handball in your opinion, that ball coming back that quick towards, I believe, is Euland?
That's not a penalty kick for me. That is not a penalty kick for me. It was in short distance. He didn't have time to react. His hand was close to his body. That would be harsh.
That would be a potential game changer, not given by Sergio Gonzalez, our official. So we stay at 1-0 here. How do things change, if at all, for UVA? Given now, again, they've only given up, this is the 7th goal of the year, so they're not used to getting scored on. They get scored on first against a team like Clemson. How do things change for them, because we know how good they are in a counterattack situation?
Urgency. The urgency changes. And George Galnavach is going to tell his team from the sidelines, let's not lose focus and control. Let's still stay disciplined. Let's stay in our low blocks. Let's continue to move the ball. But can we get forward a little bit quicker? Can there be urgency to find Dike and play off of him in that attacking half?
Here in Cary, North Carolina, the ACC men's soccer tournament final, number 1 versus number 2, Clemson UVA alongside Charlie Davies. I'm Dallin Cuff. Cat Whitehill's down on the pitch. The Tigers lead the Cavaliers 1-0 through a James Brighton goal in the 20th minute. Malik Mbai, the defender of the year, getting credited with the assist on that corner kick, saying it deflected off his head, allowing the opportunity for Brighton. Crofts on the ball, stepping forward.
In the last 2 possessions, Philip Mayaka has won the ball, and he's connected the passes.
Good work by Tanner Dietrich. A couple of challenges put in, almost led to a ball popping out, and maybe Tigers getting on transition again. Let's go down to Cat Whitehill, our pitch side report has more on Robbie Robinson, the Offensive Player of the Year in this league.
Yeah, just to go along with what we talked about at the beginning, well, it looks like Robbie Robinson is coming into the game right now. This is very interesting considering that Clemson is up 1-0. So I'm interested to see why Coach Noonan has him in there, maybe just to see if he can get his legs going and help Clemson win this ACC final.
He has not played the quarterfinal match or the semifinal match. His last game played was November 1st, the last game of the regular season. Is this just a message? Hey, we feel like we're gaining opportunities here. They try to put this thing away by putting Robinson in here, who's nursing an injury?
Well, it's one, you want to put away those opportunities, knowing that when he's in the final third, the chances are it's going to find the back of the net. But two, it's more getting him going, get him into a rhythm before that NCAA tournament.
Smith plays in the ball, and Femafuna didn't handle it that well, but was able to save it from being a corner, which again has become a little bit of a problem for them recently. Allowing a lot of corners. And here's Robbie Robinson. We wondered if he'd play. 25 minutes in, he comes in for the goal scorer, James Brighton. Third in the country in goals per game, 15 goals in 15 games played. The Offensive Player of the Year in this conference. The Clemson faithful here giving him a lot of love, and I'm sure some scouts are pretty happy to see him on the pitch.
All the scouts are very happy to see him on the pitch. But look,
so if you're UVA, anything change for you now that he's on in the game and you're down a goal?
You can't. You have to play the same way. And George Galnavach said, "I trust my defense against any team in the country, especially the center back pairing. He believes it's the best. It doesn't get better."
And he was confident that Robbie would play in this game. I think we were all wondering. He just thought, we're preparing that he's going to play. And Mike Noonan said, we will take care of it. We'll know morning of. And the Clemson coach, if he gets the thumbs up, we want to play him. And he's obviously, as a player, dying to get in the game, and now he has his opportunity. Brett Halsey skips by Mayaka. Back to Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson will get the corner as it goes off Asensio. Second of the match for the Cavs.
This is the area they were targeting before the game. The left back area, Charlie Asensio and Oscar Ogren. Getting DK posted up on Ogren and taking advantage of that area. They think that's a weakness for Clemson. Clemson has done a good job thus far, so let's see if they can continue to be ready for that attack.
Floated in by Steedman to the back post. Played back across goal. Cleared out by the Tigers, but Crofts is on it. He sends it back into the mixer. A little bit of contact. Gunnarsson trying to work to win the ball back. Big hoops game this afternoon. Number 15 Florida, potential Final Four team, taking on UConn at Gampel Pavilion in Storrs. Now, last time these two teams played in 2013 in Connecticut, Shabazz Napier hit the game winner at the buzzer for a 65-64 win. That's 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Big game of college hoops later today.
Shabazz was a baller, huh?
He was a baller. Led him to a national championship, too. Euland on the ball, Norwegian native, looking for the big switch to the German Robin Femafuna. Femafuna, great career, third-team All-ACC this year, former first-team All-ACC. Came out of the German academy, Borussia Mönchengladbach, played in the UEFA Under-19 Champions League. A great pedigree for him and a great career he's had for the Cavs, looking to bring home a ACC title, but they are down 1-0 right now.
Substitution for Virginia.
Spencer Patton coming in for Happy Kamseyu. Patton, a guy that's had some success off the bench for them this year. 3 goals. Has come in and played with much more confidence this year as a junior.
High energy. He brings energy when he comes onto the field. He's active, he's busy, he makes good runs, and he always makes that weak side run. When there's a ball played to the wide areas, he's always buzzing to get into the box and making great runs to get on the end of things.
Nice turn before by Steedman, out of some trouble, played it over to Halsey. Euland looking for that switch again to Femafuna. Patton's first touch of the ball, working against Malou. Tried to play DK into that channel, but DK slipped before he could make the run.
Trying to play into his feet. That's where Daryl DK can hurt you, when the entry balls come to his feet. Clemson have done a good job of cutting off the supply, the service to his feet. When he doesn't have the ball, he's not one of those players that are going to hurt you with pace or quickness. But when it comes to brute strength and hold-up play,
chested down nicely. Controlled by Patton over to Steedman. Halsey forward from the right back spot again. Turned over. Turned back over. Gunnarsson able to flick it out to Halsey to play a little cross, looking long for Patton. Cuts it back. Can DK turn? He could not.
great help defending there in that situation. DK's so big that you lose track of the ball.
Mayaka tries to play into the feet of Smith, cut out nicely by Kessler. Then Asiano steps into a little pocket of space, tried to play it through to Gunnarsson, read well by Asensio.
As you can see, UVA are pressing. They're getting pressure to the ball. They're not giving Clemson time and space. And they're pushing their lineup higher up the field.
With more on that, let's go down to Kat by the benches.
Yeah, so I was listening to the Virginia coaches, and they're screaming at their center backs, especially to play to their outside backs quicker so they can pull out a Clemson midfielder and give them a little more space in the midfield for their midfield players to be on the ball. So that's why you're seeing that quick switch happening a lot more in the second part of this first half.
Thanks, Kat.
Axel Gunnarsson, the right winger for UVA, has 0 goals this year. So this is a game you want to see him get into the box. He's typically a center forward. So when you play him on the right, he's used for hold-up play, winning aerial duels. But we haven't seen that much from him today.
Asiano didn't play the ball. He was offside. Charlie Asensio puts it back into play to Mayaka. Tanner Dietrich. Clemson was play it long, looking for Robinson, trying to hold off Ulen. Robinson not really, that was his first touch of the ball since coming into the match about 8 minutes ago.
And now Clemson have dropped off. Normally they're the ones pressing, pushing the tempo. But they've settled now on this 1-0 lead.
Shuttler plays it to Halsey. Halsey in a little bit of trouble. Smith pressuring him. And we'll have another substitution here.
Substitution for Clemson, entering number 10, Adrian Nunez.
Clemson, Adrian Nunez comes in, a senior from Costa Rica. And for UVA, Jaron Nixon making an appearance, coming in for Daryl DK. This is only Nixon's 4th appearance of the year. He played last week, earlier in the semifinal game. But prior to that, he played 12 minutes on the campaign. So he gets in here with an opportunity in a huge game as DK comes out. You all surprised by that decision?
I am surprised. It makes me wonder if DK is not 100%.
Let's go down to Kat, who might have more on what DK is dealing with.
Yeah, as soon as he came off the field, he went straight to the trainer. He's still talking to the trainer, showing how he fell on his arm, on his shoulder. You can see him holding it right there. And he's just very uncomfortable right now with his shoulder, and the trainer's trying to talk to him, but they haven't done anything actual to work on it, but he is talking to the trainer.
We saw DK fall early in this match in what was a pretty innocuous collision, but you see how he goes down with that right arm extended in an awkward fashion.
The rollover made it look that much worse as well. It's almost as if it got caught.
And again, we talk about his physical prowess almost working against him there. Such a big, strong, physical guy to go down. That's a lot of force on that arm, that shoulder. We compared him to Bo Jackson. That's exactly what happened to Bo Jackson with his hip injury years ago. A less of a beast wouldn't have been hurt as bad, but such a physical specimen caused such force in his leg, basically ended his career.
Let's hope it didn't go to that extent.
For sure, and obviously we saw it yesterday with Tua Tagovailoa having his hip injury. Never want to see these great, talented young players get hurt. So hopefully DK's okay, as he is no longer with the training staff. He can not re-enter the match in college soccer in the first half. He's not done for the day. He can come back in the second and can be subbed in the second and re-enter again. So if all's well, we will see him again. Nunez, his first four-way forward, gets in the box, cuts it back, looking for options. Spencer Patton there to clean it up before Tanner Dietrich could take a strike.
Nunez is very confident in the ball. You can see he has great dribbling ability.
Brett Halsey was set there. It was almost a screen set by Tanner Dietrich. It was like a pick and roll. Fourth corner of the match for Clemson.
Kamarni Smith is leading the attackers with 14 touches. He's really been involved. He creates a lot of space with his movement.
Felipe Fernandez to take the corner, where they scored their opening goal in the 20th minute off a corner. It was James Brighton, who's been subbed off since. Fernandez with the in-swinger, punched by Shuttler. Will fall to Malou. He'll line it up. Shot deflected, still loose. Dietrich shot deflected. Appeals for handball, none given. Nixon trying to break out.
Mayaka, big time challenge there, just to delay things.
Freshman of the year making a smart play, and now Sergio Gonzalez is having a conversation, warning guys about a yellow.
Whipped in near post. Colin Shuttler with the punch out, gets back in goal, and then it's great save. Then UVA, just center backs get involved, defending.
Clemson's caused quite some problems with their corner kicks in this match. Robbie Robinson wanted to foul there on his back, none given. Crosses in a lot of space. Got Nixon ahead of him. Plays Nixon. His shot sails north. We were talking about Tua a few minutes ago. Well, at 7 p.m. Eastern, ESPN and the ESPN app have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the fellas break them down. They have coaches' reactions and, of course, a live interview with committee chair Rob Mullins. Alabama was number 5. They won that game yesterday, but we'll see as we go forward how things may change for them. And Tua is done for the season.
This UVA team just doesn't look the same. Doesn't look as dangerous as we've seen them in the past. Missing Daryl DK, missing Joe Bell, it's really changed the dynamic of this UVA team.
Again, for those just joining us, Joe Bell, the junior, is the midfielder of the year in this conference in the ACC. He was called into New Zealand senior team duty. played 2 friendlies, played Lithuania. Today they lost 1-0. He played 45 minutes in the match. They lost 3-1 to Ireland earlier in the week. And he played 90 minutes in that game. So he's been the heartbeat, as George Gelderman. He's the heartbeat of this team. He's the tempo setter of this team.
He's the architect.
He's the architect, and he is missing, and his absence is being felt, to your point.
He gets all over the field, gets on the ball, combines, and then uses the width. He always finds Nathaniel Crofts or Axel Gunnarsson in great areas, and they anticipate that the ball's coming. They know it's coming when Joe Bell's on it. And he pulls people out of position. He can draw those midfielders out into the wide areas, and that's where they've done so well this year. Without him, there's a void.
And obviously, Kessler and Robinson getting into it a little bit. They try to detangle, and it's not exactly copacetic.
There's the mind games. There's the mind games. The pushing, trying to get into his head, cause a reaction. Center backs, looks like Henry Kessler is great at it.
Kessler stepping into midfield. Gelderbatch likes this. He's capable of dribbling past guys and getting forward and helping breaking down some lines. And we'll have another sub in the match. Each team making a change. Philip Horton coming in for UVA. He comes in for Jaron Nixon, so short-lived stint for Nixon. The freshman from Ohio comes in, Horton. And on the other side, Mohamed Sey comes in the match for Kamarni Smith. Sey, the freshman from Spain, 6'3", big physical guy, really good feet though, and scored the lone goal that was the difference in their win over Pitt in the semifinal match. A very capable young man.
Mike Noonan said, this is a player whose ceiling is through the roof. He's so big, he's got gifted feet, soft touch, and they expect a lot from him, especially next year. They think after a year of adjusting, he's only been in the country for 2 months, Mike Noonan says, learning the language, the college game. When he adjusts, they think this guy's going to be an absolute beast.
From Valencia, Spain, to Clemson, South Carolina. As Coach said, that's quite a cultural shift you're trying to figure out beyond the X's and O's of college soccer, the physicality more of the American game.
How about Spain to South Carolina?
That's what I just said. It's different, man. He's trying to figure it out, but he's come a long way, he said, and he's excited. He said he will be a beast, and he may have almost picked up the ball there in a dangerous opportunity, but Kessler was able to get rid of it. Donaciano stepping forward, got Patton to his left. Good feed by Donaciano. And Philip Mayaka saying, no, he dove. Doesn't matter. Sergio Gonzalez blows it dead. He'll be in a good spot.
What Donacio does so well is a quick change of speed. Mayaka catches him there. It's a foul. But Irakosi Donaciano is one of those players in college soccer that is very tough to deal with because of his acceleration. His first 2 steps, 3 steps are one of the quickest in college soccer.
Crofts over the ball with Steedman behind him. Both of them have scored off free kicks this year. Steedman's had some very impressive ones in his career. It'll be Crofts though. Curls it, just wide. Under 3 minutes to go here, 1-0 from Cary, North Carolina, alongside Charlie Davies. I'm Dallin Cuff. Cat Whitehill down on the pitch, and Clemson leads through a James Brighton goal in the 20th minute off a corner. The #1 team in the nation has the advantage over the #2 team in the nation in Virginia, and our top 2 seeds in the ACC conference tournament as well. Each won their respective division this year, Coastal and the Atlantic. It's a matchup I think all of us wanted to see months ago. We knew they weren't going to play in the regular season. We thought maybe we could see it in the ACC tournament. Maybe we see the NCAA tournament. We got it here with a trophy on the line.
And we knew this game was going to be about the transitions. the reactions after you lose the ball. Who's going to be taking that initiative to win it back and then an attack, counter press. But we haven't seen that. I mean, Clemson has, once they scored the goal, they've dropped deep now, and they've been in their blocks. They've been organized. Not accustomed to seeing Clemson change the way they play.
Which Mike Noonan said, we're going to play the way we play. It didn't matter who we're going to play, or play the way we play, which is get in transition, which is press you, which is make you feel uncomfortable. But to that point, it has not seemed that way since the goal was scored. Halsey dives in, gets nothing, loses a boot though. Gunnarsson trying to charge past Asensio. Asensio gets a touch to put it out.
One minute remaining.
Sergio Gonzalez stopping play as Halsey lost his boot. He's giving him a second to put it back on.
You see Robbie try to do a little bit too much and too cheeky there. Felipe Fernandez takes too many touches. A step over, not needed in that situation. Just play the ball onto Robbie Robinson, who's going to continue to make that run down the left flank. Clemson's great when they get isolated in those wide areas. We haven't seen that much tonight. But they've still been effective. The attention to detail, capitalizing on set pieces. Sometimes that's what it comes down to when there's two great teams playing against each other.
Say he can't control it off his chest, falls to Steedman. Donaciano. Robinson wins it back for the Tigers.
Good work from Robbie Robinson there. Coming back, defending, and then turning, winning a throw-in for his team.
Say pass off the mark. Femafuna picks it up. He's looking for some help. Well, we're going to go to the break. 1-0 Tigers up. What are your thoughts on the first 45, Chuck?
Not the prettiest of first halves, but Clemson did what they needed to do to score that goal. And then once they did, they sat back and they forced UVA to break them down. They haven't been able to do it. So it was an entertaining first half, but I expect a lively second half.
Again, this is the Clemson team. Leads the nation in goals scored against the team that's stingiest in the country in UVA. Let's get down to Mike Noonan alongside Kat. Kat?
Hey, Coach, what were your overall impressions of that first half?
Well, I thought it was pretty chippy, to be honest with you. I thought that both teams tried to establish themselves physically in the game. And, you know, the wind doesn't help when you're playing against it. But if we settle the ball down in the midfield and switch the point of attack to the front half of our team, I think we'll be better off the second half.
How important was it for you to get Robbie Robinson in the game?
Well, it's good to get him back going again, right? And he's, you know, he's not himself, but, you know, we'll see how he goes in the second half.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Kat.
Seems like we'll see more of Robbie in the second half. But before we get there, we're going to look at Chuck's choices. Who are the best 11 in the best conference in the country? We'll break that down. We'll take a look back at this first half as well from Cary, North Carolina. 1-0. Tigers are up. We'll be back in a minute. ESPN, the men's soccer final here from Cary, North Carolina. Let's get down to George Geldovach, the UVA coach, with Kat Whitehill.
Coach, what did you tell your team in the locker room?
Well, obviously, we're disappointed on getting scored on a restart, and I think Clemson did a very good job of making it difficult for us to come out of our half, which is important for us. But I think as the half went on in the last 20 minutes, we started to figure that out a little bit, got better at it, and pushed them back and played in their half a little bit more. And I think we need to do a little bit more of that this half.
How is DK feeling with his shoulder?
Yeah, he's fine. I had planned to take him out anyway. That's just something we had planned to do. I think he's fine.
All right, thanks so much, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Kat. You just heard Coach say he thinks he's fine. That was a planned substitution, although he was grabbing his shoulder. He is in the huddle on the field, getting ready to go for the second 45. How can he make this his imprint on this game?
Play to his feet and then hold up play. he's able to spin anybody. If you push up against him, he's going to use that to his advantage, spin you, and then he looks to play whoever's making runs into the box. He's very good at finding that next pass. So can we see a little bit more from Nathaniel Crofts? Can we see a little bit more from Axel Gunnarsson? That's what UVA needs to do. Be a little bit more influential. Use the wide areas.
You see him holding his shoulder right now. This UVA team, though, their calling card all year has been on the defensive end. They've only allowed more than one goal one time. That was to Pitt at home when they were the #1 team in the country, and they fell to Pitt. They've rattled off 5 wins since then. And George Gelnovich and his crew looking for their first ACC title since 2009. ACC Conference Tournament title, I should say. And for Clemson on the other side, it's a team that has scored at will all year long. We'll see if they can put up another goal here, which could end this thing, or could just make it really exciting. We'll see what happens. UVA has the same starting 11 they rolled out to begin the match. Clemson, the same situation. Robbie Robinson, the Offensive Player of the Year, back on the bench to start the half. The goal scorer, James Brighton, back in the match. Up to Tanner Dietrich, 3-year captain, off his head. Brighton brings it down. Knocks it out to Camarnie Smith. Smith to Dietrich. Back to Smith. Offside. The flag is up, though, on Dietrich's run. Clemson out of the gate coming out. I've said it all year, and you've seen coaches tell you around the country, around the conference, that Clemson team comes at you in waves, and they are relentless in it. Was that the most reserved you'd seen this Clemson team in 45 minutes?
By far. Normally, that's when they take advantage of teams who are desperate to score, to level the score. And so Grayson Barber, who we've seen countless times get isolated in that 1v1 area and beat his player, which causes the center backs to come out of position to cover, and then Camarnie Smith, James Brighton, Mohamed Saei, whoever's in the middle, has a ton of space for that service.
Kessler, big switch, looking for Axel Gunnarsson, right to Gunnarsson's foot. No cut inside. Brett Halsey in the overlap to the right. He comes inside again as well. Donaciano trying to play it to DK's feet, but read well by the defender. Marnie Smith slips it forward to Fernandez.
Camarnie Smith has been the best attacker for Clemson today. Just getting on the ball, calm, not rushing or forcing things. And then Mayaka has grown into the game slowly. At the start, trying to do too much.
Freshman Philip Mayaka White, number 20, bottom of your screen there.
Special player, very special player.
Freshman of the year in the conference. One of the players the scouts, pro scouts, are very interested in seeing here. They're here today. Smith cuts it back. Closed off nicely by Naciano. Great tackle by Fernandez to win it back. Malik Mbai steps forward, the ACC Defender of the Year. The only one of, was not on your list of Players of the Year. You had Henry Kessler, 5 in blue, from UVA as Defender of the Year. And Mbai was voted that award earlier this week.
You have to give it to the best center back, the best defender on the best defensive team. For me, it doesn't equate if he's not selected as Defender of the Year.
Apparently, you don't have to do it because they didn't.
Apparently, but he's been fantastic.
He has been great, as is Mbai. That was a tough call for sure. And Schottler, usually great with his feet, uncomfortable, knocks it over Kessler's head, leading to a throw from Clemson. Mayaka wanted to throw it quick, waited a second, and now it's crowded out. Donaciano charging forward past Mayaka and Dietrich. See if that warrants a card as Mayaka just pulled him back.
It should be a yellow card.
Yeah.
That should be a yellow card on Mayaka.
Professional foul there. Sergio Gonzalez has not brandished a card yet in this match. And George Gelnovich isn't too happy, so it seems like there will not be a card coming his way.
He got away with some fouls in the first half. Philip Mayaka should have a yellow card right now. And we saw the burst of speed that Donaciano has.
That's what I was going to ask you. You want to see 11v11, but if you deserve a card, the ref's kind of got to brandish a card.
He grabbed a handful of jersey. That's a yellow card. And then that changes drastically the way he plays.
And as you mentioned, he had a number of fouls earlier in the first half as well. Steedman knocks it down to Donaciano.
And there,
Crowder out by
Mayaka wins the
Mayaka, yeah.
challenge.
Kessler positioned well to cut that out. Plays up to Femifuna. He's got some space. He's got Crofts to his left. Donaciano stepping into that space, but couldn't quite get on the ball. Brighton knocked off the ball. Steven goes down, and they play on, says Sergio Gonzalez. Looking to play it over the top to DK. Ends in the hands of George Marks, the sophomore keeper, second team all-conference.
Happy Kamseyu playing balls into the final third for DK in the air. That's not his game. His game is get into the box, play quick, keep the ball on the ground, or be on the receiving end for balls in the air.
Kessler stepping forward in the midfield. His pass is not where he wanted it to be.
Normally, the Clemson outside wingers are so high that they force the opposing defense to have their outside backs sit. Here, they're tucking in and they're dropping deep, so they're inviting UVA outside fullbacks to come up, Afamafuna and Halsey. And I would think that's where you use James Brighton to get into the space to stretch them.
Alka picks it up. Smith challenged late by Steedman, and that will be a free kick. They opt to restart it quickly. Ball is in play. Tanner Dietrich trying to run onto it, ushered out for a goal kick. We always talk about the ACC being the best conference in the country. The last 2 years, they've gotten 9 teams in the NCAA tournament. Selection show tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Here are the RPI ranks for the 10 teams. UNC and Duke not listed because they're, quite frankly, not going to make it.
They're out.
Do you think you were going to see a record of 10 teams in the NCAA tournament?
I think there's a great chance. I think NC State's on the bubble. But there's a great chance we could see 10 teams from the ACC. This conference is loaded. You have full national team members in it. It's a conference that is the cream of the crop, the best players, the best competition, well coached. This is what you want. And so, yes, there better be 10 teams in the tournament.
Better be 10?
There better be. The quality is too high.
No.
These teams are too good not to be involved in the postseason tournament.
Now, there can be some bid stealers if you look around the other conferences. And just from reference, you saw NC State's 34 RPI. They've been ranked in the top 25 most of the year, but they're 34 RPI. Last year, the lowest at-large team to get in was UNCW. They got in 41 out of the CAA. So we will see how many teams get in. Your demand of 10.
Give me 10.
Those listening that aren't on board with ACC soccer might think you're just a little aggressive, but we'll see.
How could you not be on board with ACC soccer?
I don't know.
Just producing talent.
Maybe they just don't. They don't think they should get more than a fifth of the field in, but
they should.
I'm not arguing the opposite. I think there should definitely be 9 and maybe 10.
Okay.
You just seem pretty adamant there should be 10. The only thing I've seen you do more aggressively is mow down carbs on carbs on carbs. Pasta, side of fries, folks. That's his order. That's the move.
Your boy wants to be full, okay?
Played crossfield to Crofts, just out of reach for him.
I've worked too hard and for too long not to enjoy meals now, okay?
I feel
so
you,
if
man.
I want to have some fries with some macaroni and cheese and some chicken on the side, let me eat.
I'd let you eat. I'd never had seen a pasta order with a side of fries. Now I've seen it. We've done about 20 games together. I think I've seen it 19 times.
Yeah, truffle fries, too.
I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah.
I led you astray. Not regular fries. He's highbrow.
And Yulin
yeah.
dribbles out of the back, but then the pass, that final pass is not there. And George Gallivash talked about that. Great defending, great in the air, but really needs to work on his passing ability.
Yulin Norway product. Played for their U17, U18, U20 teams at different international levels.
And Daryl Dike has not touched the ball this half. Yet Kamari Smith has 8 touches.
Yeah.
Can we get him involved more?
Trying to play Crofts through Steedman's pass, just too much on it.
What technique there from George Marks.
Distribution. Now an opportunity for Brighton as he's 1v1 with Kessler. Kessler makes him retreat. And bumped off the ball kind of unnecessarily, and that'll lead to a kick for Clemson.
That looked like great defending from me. Henry Kessler came up, pushed him backwards. James Brighton went down a little easy for being that big.
Lou finds Dietrich. Nice turn into space. Trying to combine with Brighton.
Good strength there from Kamari Smith.
Charlie Asensio on the overlap, plays it in. Dietrich there. May fall for Smith. He's still on it. Tried to backheel it to Brighton. Did not come off, and Crofts is on the ball. DK had Gunnarsson running off him. That touch is, let's say, not what he wanted to have happen. I heard Mike Noonan say it was a little tough going into the wind in the first half. The wind is picking up a little bit here. Down on the field, Cat Whitehill says not that bad, though. Justin Malou gets forward. His cross cut out by Kessler as they push their line forward. Fernandez on it.
But Clemson's starting to use those wide areas, using their outside backs to get forward and create mismatches. That's what they've done so well all year. Yet we haven't really seen that in this game. Now they're starting to use those outside backs.
Mbai was able to get around DK and pop that up. DK looked like he was about to potentially go turn in some space.
Well, Mike Noonan told Mbai as well as Ogren, give him a little space, but as soon as you see that ball, as soon as you see light in between you and DK, go for it. Be aggressive. Great tackle there from Malik Mbai.
Smith can't run that down. And just a reminder, with USL Championship Final for you tonight, 7:30 Eastern here on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. Two-time defending champs, Louisville City, takes on the Real Monarchs. They're led by Douglas Martinez, his 17 goals in the campaign. A couple subs now, most notably Robbie Robinson coming in for Clemson. The Offensive Player of the Year. He'll replace Kamari Smith. And Spencer Patton comes in for UVA, replacing Brel Happy Kamseu. We'll see how Robinson, again, Offensive Player of the Year in the conference, leads the country in points. Overall, how he feels coming off his injury. He's working his way back to health. This is his first game since November 1st. He's not played in this tournament yet. Played about 20 minutes in the first half. Didn't see much of the ball as DK is fouled here by Mbai. What do you want to see out of Robinson here in the second 45? And how is this team at all different when he plays out to the left versus playing centrally, which James Brighton is, because he's still in the middle?
He likes to get isolated 1v1 and then combine. So can he get on the ball, get some touches, play simple to get into the game, get into a rhythm, and then let's see what he can do, the creativity in that final third.
Let's see if he can get more touches on the ball. Very minimally involved early in this game. DK with a nice slide tackle, able to dispossess Mbai. Nice touch by Halsey. This pass drags Yulin back, and he'll play it back to Shuttler. Yulin steps past the first defender.
And this is where UVA excels. They pull you out, and they use their defenders to dribble by the pressure, forcing midfielders to come out of position to engage those center backs, and then that next ball splits the lines, and they're able to attack with great numbers going forward.
Yeah, that outside of the boot pass didn't come off for Halsey, but that could have been an opportunity to spring something there, as there were a number, to your point, of blue jerseys forward there looking to get it transition. Axel Gunnarsson, Sweden, youth international, Gothenburg, grew up in that academy. First time ball, looking for Spencer Patton. Patton beats Malou end line, plays it back in. Mark spills it, but nobody is there to pounce. Quick distribution. Hewlin misread it, and Robinson almost able to get on the loose ball. Hewlin stepping by Brighton, coming forward, finds Patton in acres of space.
But you could see just there how shifty Robbie Robinson is. He got Hewlin to bite on that initial hop, and it went over his head. Here, the ball's whipped in near post, not enough runners. You have to layer. One come across the keeper near post, and then the next in behind following for any ball that pops out.
By called for the foul there, said he, and Sergio Gonzalez, almost like a basketball official, saying he kind of reached around him.
Now, that comes from the coaches, Clemson, Mike Noonan, going to the ref and saying, hey, Daryl Dike excels by using his arms and wrapping around you. He grabbed a piece of the jersey. That's why that's why the ref blew the whistle. As soon as he sees an armful of jersey, that's when the whistle's going to come out. Otherwise, he's going to let them play. But Mike Noonan was sure to go to the ref and tell him, hey, watch the grabbing. He likes to hold the center backs and then spin off them.
We've seen it. DK battling with Mbaye quite a bit. Mbaye is Defender of the Year, 6'1", senior from Senegal, big physical product. Oscar Ogren, the other center back, I know George Gelovich wanted to see that matchup more. Why have we not seen DK trying to get posted up on that side of the field more often and on Ogren?
I think this is just where the game is. This is what it calls for. They're playing from the left side more often. That's where DK has found comfort.
Gunnarsson plays it in, looking for Crofts, headed out by Mbaye. No shots on goal yet by either team in this half. The only goal mouth action was that cross that Mark spilled about 3 minutes ago. Gunnarsson trying to turn on two Clemson defenders. He's able to get it to DK. Good control by Brighton. It pops it over to Robbie Robinson. Daniel Steedman recovers and plays it out.
We've seen great touches from James Brighton, keeping that ball close and able to connect. It's been fantastic from James Brighton since he's been on the field. DK trying to use his body, but Oscar Ogren did a great job in the clearance. Fantastic touch, the hold-up play from James Brighton, which is what you want out of that position. So important.
Last dead ball substitution, Quinn McNeil, the redshirt sophomore from Greenville, South Carolina, came in for Felipe Fernandez. McNeil making his 17th appearance on the year. Pretty consistent, comes off the bench, although Mike Noonan doesn't sub a lot, but McNeil is one of the players that does appear in nearly every match this year. Patton skips it around Malou. Tried to play it first time off Mbaye, out for a corner. Third of the match for UVA.
UVA is growing in confidence. They're connecting passes. You can really feel the energy. They believe that they can go and get this equalizer. They're breaking into those wide areas and causing mismatches.
Daniel Steedman on the ball. And swinger played out. Maybe a shot here for Halsey. He's got a lot of room. Takes a touch and is shot high. This afternoon, got a great game on the hardwood for you. Number 15, Florida, taking on UConn at Gamble Pavilion in Storrs, Connecticut. Last time the Gators came to Storrs back in 2013, Shabazz Napier hit the game winner at the buzzer for a 65-64 W. 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Danny Hurley's crew, he's still trying to rebuild that Huskies team, but the Gators are potentially Final Four good. They haven't looked that way yet. They're figuring out. They lost to Florida State, their rival, at home last week. A lot of talent, but trying to put it together.
Have you ever hit a buzzer beater?
Yeah. Last time it happened in high school? Sophomore, junior year?
None in college.
No buzzer beaters in college, no.
I was hoping for an epic story.
No story for you there. I think I had an assist on one, though.
Okay.
My boy Justin hit one in the corner.
I'll take that. Now Robbie Robinson moves up to the center forward position. They took James Brighton out, and Adrian Nunez comes in the left wing. Now that allows Robbie Robinson a little bit more flexibility. He can drift to the wide areas, whether it's the right wing and combine with Grayson Barber, or the left with Adrian Nunez, or he can drop deep into the midfield and try and draw the UVA center backs out to him to create more space for those wingers to make those runs in behind.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Alongside Charlie Davies up in the booth, Kat Whitehill down on the pitch. I'm Dallin Cutfield. 1-0. The Tigers leading the Cavaliers in the ACC men's soccer final through James Brighton goal, the redshirt freshman, in the 20th minute of this match. Top two teams in the nation doing battle here. Some billed it as the match of the century. Might become that way as we got a chance here for DK. He steps forward, tries to lay it off to Croft. Still DK. Last-ditch tackle by Mayaka to take it off his foot.
Of course. But that's what you need from Daryl DK, using his body. He's able to shield it, create some space for himself, and almost get a shot off on goal.
Nasiato tried to nutmeg Mayaka, didn't come together. This might flip through to Gunnarsson. It does. Still Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson shot, it's in the back of the net! And we're knotted up at 1! His first goal in college soccer could have massive implications for their program.
Donaciano plays that ball. It finds Axel Gunnarsson, who takes a couple touches and then sets him out for the low-driven ball to the far post through the legs of George Marks. It's a fantastic goal. It's a goal he's been looking for, and he finally gets it. And what a moment for the freshman. The keeper had no chance because it was driven at a great pace. Perfect spot. Gets his team the equalizing goal. The players were happy just to see that ball hit the back of the net, but then they realized, hey, it's Gunnarsson, it's his first goal, let's go!
The crowd has come alive. You talked about earlier, Chuck, this is a young man that had not scored in college soccer yet, coming over from Sweden his freshman year, and he's been hungry for it. What a time for it, as this UVA team, as program, has not won the ACC conference tournament since 2009. They've won a national championship back in 14, but they have not held this trophy since that year, and now he gives them the equalizer. And we've got a 1-1 game here with under 25 minutes to play. Clemson has not taken a shot, mind you, too, in 30 minutes of play. They average 19 a game. They've only got 5. So UVA really has taken a little stranglehold of this match.
Well, we talked about how they've just dropped off.
Gunnarsson again stepping into the box. He tried to lay it back, deflected just wide. And the Cavs are feeling it, as are their fans.
The wide areas is where they were looking to exploit this Clemson defense. And now they're hitting it. They're using the flanks. They're getting their players involved in those areas. And then they're being direct. They're attacking goal.
Driven toward the penalty spot. Kessler tries to head it back. Falls down. I mentioned 2009, the last time that UVA won this tournament. They beat NC State. Dramatic game. Will Bates, though, game winner in the 16th minute. Look at these old unis. This looks only 10 years ago. Looks like forever ago. Nice cross by Hunter Jumper.
Looks like 1994.
And Will Bates puts it in the back of the net, giving the Cavs their ACC tournament title. George Gelnevach, he's been in this final 13 times of the 24 years he's coached UVA. They've only won it 4 times, though. Grayson Barber collides with Euland. Go out for a goal kick and both players are down. That was tough.
Substitution for Clemson.
First time we really seen Grayson Barber taking a player 1v1 and getting on the ball in that final third. And now he's down. He really feels that collision, but he's back on his feet. It can't be too long before we see Kamarni Smith get back on the field. I mean, this is a player who really opens it up for this Clemson attack. 13 goals this year. He's got pace. Push the envelope. This Clemson team needs to get back to doing what they do best, which is high press. Get the pressure and then get your players in those 1v1 duels. Robbie Robinson right there, winning the ball back, and now they attack.
Potential opportunity as Nunez knocked off the ball. Battling with Halsey, and it will be a foul on Nunez. Now, in that last exchange, Philip Mayaka came out of the game for Alvaro Gomez, another freshman from 5'8" from Spain, a talented player, making his 16th appearance. But Mayaka, freshman of the year, first team all ACC, he hasn't exactly had his best game. How do you feel about him being taken off in a 1-1 game with 22 minutes to play?
I don't mind it. It's probably it's a lesson. Coach Newton saying, you haven't been sharp. We're going to get you off, tell you what you need to do better. And then when you're ready, when I feel you're ready, I'm going to put you back in, and let's see if you can execute.
Just in case any folks are tuning in that are not that familiar with college soccer rules, in the second half you can go out, you can come back into the match. You have one re-entry available, so we could see Mayaka again. And in a 1-1 game, you may be thinking, could be playing into an overtime situation here. These teams, this is the third game in a week for all these teams. A little bit of space, and then deflected, and Gomez will earn a corner with that. George Gelnovac told us, too, in this game, every little thing matters, every detail matters, obviously, but closing down space with all these Clemson guys is critical. You can't give them anything. There they backed up, and Gomez is able to take a shot, and this would now generate a corner opportunity. Fifth of the match for Clemson. Play toward the back post. A lot of contact with Malou and Yulin, but it goes out.
And Robbie Robinson has had 71 shots this year. 71. We have not seen him yet take a chance, take a risk. He has the ability to really drive one. He's got a strong leg. He can hit it with right and left foot. He's clean around the box. Yeah, we really haven't seen him in a danger area yet.
Quick restart by the Cavs. Quinn McNeil, a lot of contact with Spencer Patton, no calls, it's turned over. Gomez plays the feet of Robinson, back to Gomez.
Robbie Robinson is slowly growing into the game. You can see that the touches are confident. They're right next to his foot, and then he passes and moves.
Nunez, he's offside though. Flag went up immediately.
Offside.
Second offside of the match for the Tigers.
It's a tight one, but Adrian Nunez looks like he's a half step off sides. They're trying to switch the point of attack and create those 1v1 battles. That's where Clemson excels. If they can get those players.
Deflected by Robinson.
It doesn't get closer than that.
And George Gelnovac told us that too. He loves how good Colin Shuttler is with his feet, but you've got to be smart. Here's an opportunity potentially. Gomez wants to take another shot. Driven off of Nunez. Clemson now applying the pressure. Back and forth we go with the top two teams in the nation. Robinson stepping forward. Accentuated that, wanted a foul. Sergio Gonzalez waved his finger at it pretty quickly. Cut out by Crofts, and he'll just get it out.
You were never getting that foul.
Whoa. More action between the pressed keepers as Mark stepped forward and dinked it past Dike.
Now I asked Mike Noonan, head coach of Clemson, what are you going to do when the game starts to get out of control? Who's going to slow it down? Who's going to be able to dictate the tempo? He said, my captain, Tanner Dietrich. He's a veteran. He's going to be able to tell these guys, okay, let's calm down. Let's not get people out of position.
Bodies are flying everywhere right now. DK trying to play it to a Crofts running onto it, but Marks is able to get to the corner of the box and pull it in. Championship on the line here in Cary, North Carolina, alongside Charlie Davies. I'm Dallin Cuff. Cat Whitehill's down on the pitch. The intensity is definitely rising here as the challenges are flying in as both these teams want to hoist this trophy. Grayson Barber trying to turn Ulen, can't do it. Gets a piece of Ulen. It seemed like, but the whistle came a bit late.
Things are getting more chippy now, end to end.
No cards have been brandished yet by Sergio Gonzalez. Just a lot of talking tos as he tries to manage the match.
This is what he wants right here. This is what he wants. Slow the game down. Oh.
And we're changing the foul. We're going the other way now.
He's saying Ulen flopped and he grabbed the ball.
Oh.
Which he did. Normally, the defender gets that call, though.
We see that quite a bit. We've talked about that before, but Ulen will not get the call, and now will be a free kick in a dangerous area. Chance to play the ball into the box here. You got Mbai and Robinson standing over.
Oh, Robinson's taking this. I can tell you that
will they
now.
try to go for goal here?
This is a ball that you can frame on the goal, and if it goes untouched, it hits the inside of the far post.
Gonzalez backs up Crofts.
This is a difficult angle to score, but you put it far post and you try and frame it so that if it's untouched, it's going to find the back of the net.
Just drives it in low. Steedman is there. Steedman clears it out. Lou picked. Gets his pocket picked by Donaciano. Plays it up to Gunnarsson, the goal scorer that equalized in the 65th minute. White jersey streaming back into play. Popped out the Crofts. Halsey, Gunnarsson, some space, almost finds DK. But goes out for a corner. 6th of the match for UVA.
Halsey, the right back, getting up top. Gunnarsson plays it in, tries to play it into the feet, but it was a little too far ahead of Daryl DK. But it's getting better in the final third.
Driven in. Patton almost got his head to it. Patton is still there. Donaciano tries to keep it in, but he's in battle with Barber to do so. It'll be a UVA throw. We make some subs first, though. Happy Kamseo comes back in the match. He'll replace Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson was the goal scorer in the 65th minute, and then Philip Mayaka, you see, is coming back in the match for Quinn McNeil, ACC Freshman of the Year, first team All-Conference. Not exactly had his best day, but he is now back in the game. Hopefully change things for his squad. Robinson comes down with it, knocks it forward. Afemafuna and Nunez in a bit of a foot race, some contact. Napi Kamsey, who's going to be called for a foul. No, high boot there by Mbai afterwards. And there'll be a yellow brandished for that. The first one of the match on the Defender of the Year, Malik Mbai. And Happy Kamseu is down. He's had injury issues all year. Was an ACC freshman team last year. Has struggled to get back to full fitness. You don't want to see him take that shot.
He gets undercut there. Malou gets undercut, and then Mbai comes studs exposed. Catches the foot of Happy Kamseu. That's painful. I'll tell you that right now. That is painful. That's happened to me a ton of times. Sometimes you get a bone bruise. You feel that the rest of the game.
Two things for you. One, is that just a yellow with your studs exposed that high? And
Just
two,
a yellow.
how does he play differently as a center back now on a yellow?
You can't dive in. You can't make those slide tackle challenges outside the box that you're accustomed to seeing from Mbai.
Yellow card, Clemson, number 5.
You got to be
Mbai.
really sharp and smart of when you do engage DK or Denaciano, who's on the run in the space, because it's very difficult as a center back to deal with attacking players in 1v1 situations in space.
A couple other subs, speaking of attacking players. Kamani Smith comes back in the game, one of the top 10 goal scorers in the country in terms of goals per game. Then James Brighton, the goal scorer in this game for Clemson, in the 20th minute. He comes back in for Adrian Nunez. Brighton able to connect with Robinson. Robinson ball played in, almost found Smith making the run.
And that's what you get with James Brighton, a big player who you can play through. He connects. And then that allows Robbie Robinson to run off him and play that dangerous ball whipped into the box that normally Kamani Smith is there for.
Yes.
He makes great runs to get in front of the defenders who are there zonally marking.
Mayaka connecting with Gomez. Knocked out to Malou, getting forward from his right back spot. Gomez able to get it to Dietrich. Nice back heel. It's passed to Mayaka though. Read well. Robinson, good turn. Spencer Patton's got some green in front of him. Malou trying to come over to close him down. Or Mbai, excuse me. That'll go out for a corner. Mbai upset.
You got to put that out for a throw-in. Here it is. And Malik Mbai knows that Patton's going to make that run. He was caught in two minds. Do I turn inside or do I play it out of bounds? There he tried to put his foot on it and wait, and it was too late. Now you got to deal with this centerpiece.
Curled in, looking back post. Marks goes up and gets it though. He'll try to distribute quickly. He's got Robinson and Smith here in a 2v2 situation.
George Marks has 2 assists on the season due to plays like that. Off a corner, get it, and then his release is so quick.
Great work by Halsey to skip by Mayaka. Now, I mean, George Gelnovac is pleading for a card. And Sergio Gonzalez is obliging, and rightfully so, I'd assume?
Yes. He said, it's about time. Halsey, the converted right back from midfield, does a great job of beating Mayaka on the dribble, forcing him to foul him. And now the yellow card's out for Mayaka, who hasn't had the best of games.
Denaciano couldn't bring it down on his chest. And Kat Whitehill, our reporter down on the field, said it was an accumulation yellow for Mayaka on a number of fouls on the day. Gets him the yellow.
Now Clemson doing a good job of connecting passes. And then they lose position, they win it right back. But then they give it away.
Ben Mafuna, nice work on Brighton, but Brighton might have won that battle, and that's gonna be a clear yellow. As Steedman just dragged him down. Daniel Steedman, the sophomore. He's part of that all-ACC freshman crew last year. There were 4 players for the Cavs. That was a record in the conference. And
James Brighton has been great today. Power, the strength, forces Steedman to pull him down.
Smart play there by Steedman. Or was that?
It's a smart play.
Yeah.
It's 1-1. You take the foul.
George Galnavas did say, we will foul you. We can't lose this game in transition. We know how important it is. If we're going to we need to do it, we will do it. A little bit of a huddle here by the Tigers.
They have a ton of short plays that are designed, that they work on in training. So they're deciding, do we take this straight approach where we just try and take a shot at goal, or do we look to combine and play short?
Marnie Smith plays it short to Mayaka. He's going to try to float it in. Robinson almost got there, and it pops over the bar for a corner. 6th of the match for Clemson. They scored their lone goal off a corner, and now you've got a little extracurricular activity in the goal mouth. Colin Shuttler getting into it a bit. Shuttler's the first team All-ACC goalkeeper of the year this year, leads the nation in shutouts with 13. He's first among active goalkeepers too, 0.5 goals allowed per game as you take a look.
Colin Shuttler goes up just to make sure it goes over. Feels like he was undercut by Oscar Augerin, and then he gets up and
Smith plays it near post, and that
keepers
is
are
not
very
the corner you want.
Very protective of their 6-yard box.
Well, I'm also protective of my space when I'm trying to land. I think he might have a bit of a gripe there.
No, they're a little overprotective.
Okay. Teach their own.
What a ball from Colin Shuttler. Driven to the feet of Robin Afamafuna.
He is keeper of the year in this conference, as we just said, but George Galnavas, the first one to tell you, his best thing is his feet. That's his best attribute. He's a great goalkeeper, but his feet are outstanding. Kessler goes down.
He'd fit perfectly into a Pep Guardiola team.
He is the modern keeper. Got to play with your feet now. Nice touch by Robinson to Brighton. He's looking forward for Smith. He might get on it. No, Shuttler's out there. As we cross under 10 minutes to go here, ACC men's soccer tournament final here. The number 1 and 2 seeds, the number 1 and 2 teams in the nation. Alongside Charlie Davies, I'm Dallin Cuff. Kat Whitehill is down on the field, 3rd member of our team. Clemson went up early in this game in the 20th minute through James Brighton. And then Axel Gunnarsson, the freshman, equalized his first goal of his college career in the 65th minute. Locked this thing up, and we are at ones right now with a championship on the line. Quick restart, cross to DK. He's going to get there before the end line, play it back, out for another corner.
This is where you have to watch for Henry Kessler on these set pieces. He's very dangerous. He's a big target. He's 6'4", and he always makes great runs in the box. He separates himself from his marker, which is Tanner Dietrich here, who's tasked with making sure he's going to prevent him, get his hand on him, disrupt his run. But Henry Kessler is one of those players who always seems to find the corner kick.
Loose in front, it falls in the back of the net! Happy Kamseu was claiming it. The sophomore celebrates as he potentially gives the Cavs a come-from-behind W.
Virginia Cavaliers goal scored by number 20, Happy Kamseu, with the assist from number 7, Daniel Steedman. 8:40 remaining for the second half. Virginia Cavaliers 2.
The corner curled in, and Happy Kamseu comes right to his feet, unmarked, and just guides it past George Marks.
Now, after that goal went in, there were some complaints. You see Newland almost took out Mbai. You see Clemson claiming there was a foul there, pointing to Sergio Gonzalez. He did not agree. He pointed to the midfield spot. Maybe some controversy here, as that was a little physical. What is your take, Chuck?
It looked like Newland created the space, and by pushing him by in the back, if they had VAR, that's a foul, and it comes back.
In college soccer, there is no VAR for situations like that. They can review if the ball actually crossed the goal line, a fighting situation, or disciplinary matters to make sure they are brandishing a card for the correct player. Those are the 3 instances, and that's it. So there will be no review. This is it. This is how we're at right now. 2-1. Clemson is down. Now they are the highest scoring team in the nation. Charlie, what do they do to turn this thing around as we show you this goal again and potential shove here?
Here it is. The right side of your screen, Newland shoves Mbai down. Creates the space necessary for Happy Kamseyu to guide that past George Marks. It's a foul. It's a clear foul. The ref missed it, and Happy Kamseyu had an epic celebration. Now Clemson have to get back to pressing.
Yeah. This may be an opportunity. This is loose. DK can get on it. Mate, it just dragged down by Mbai. That's going to be something. The red is out. And the senior, the defender of the year, is out of the game and will be suspended for their next match in the NCAA tournament as well. Now a chance to put this thing away. Nathaniel Crofts ran and grabbed the ball immediately. He hands it over to their senior, one of their captains, Robin Afemafuna, to take the penalty to potentially end this thing. As Mbai, the senior and defender of the year in this conference, walks off.
Ball, he's shielding. He expects George Marks to come out, but Daryl DK doesn't give up on the play. Cuts in front of Mbai, forces him to foul him because the keeper's out of the goal. Now you have a red card, you have a penalty kick. This would ice the game.
Afemafuna steps forward to take it.
UVA are 3 for 4 on PKs this season.
And the senior, the captain, ices it.
Virginia Cavaliers. Goal. By number 3.
And with Joe Bell not here, their normal free kick taker, penalty kick taker, he steps to the spot. He's 0 for the 1 in the season. Hits the one that really matters, that everybody will remember.
Substitution for Clemson in ring. Number 14.
Steps up, calm, cool, down the middle. The hesitation. George Marks moved first. He was anticipating. And they all know it. They're waiting for that. They're waiting for Robin to come to the sideline. They said, come, we're ready. They're amped up.
What a turn of events. They've scored in their last 3 shots, the Hoos have. And now Clemson playing with a man down. They are the most electric and prolific offense in the country. Down a man and down 2 goals. Uphill climb to say the least, but if there's any team that could do it, it's them. Let's get down to Kat Whitehill as more on the tactics that Clemson's trying to employ. Kat?
Yeah, they want to keep this 3 back. They're putting a lot more numbers forward. It looks almost like a 3-2-4 or 3-3-3. They're just trying to send as many numbers forward at this point. They've got to get the goals.
Thanks a lot, Kat. As Mayaka flies forward to take the corner quickly. Again, that's the only way they have scored this game, is off a corner. Low ball driven in. DK clears it away. Halsey dispossessed, decided not to get rid of it. Now Oscar Ogren have a chance to play it back into the box. Well done by Kessler, and Kessler yelling at Halsey, get it out. That was not the smartest decision to try to dribble out of the back there.
No, you played into space. Get the lines up. Because now you're allowing Clemson to stay in that final third and keep the press on. The last thing you want to do is give up a goal with 5 minutes left to get them that confidence, because they're playing with nothing to lose now. They're down a man, they're down 2 goals. They're just going to throw numbers. If they lose 5-1, that's fine with them.
Toward the back post, falls to Robinson. Fakes the shot. Low ball played in, might fall to Malou. It does! It's off the post! Still a chance. Mohamed Saeed couldn't settle it to get the shot off. They're coming back at him, though. Sprayed out wide to Mayaka.
And now they call the foul.
Away from the ball.
Away from the ball.
Clemson's fans were nonetheless upset about it. Now, Sergio Gonzalez is jogging over towards the monitors. I'm not sure if he wants to look and see if that ball
crossed the line.
Crossed the line, because again, that is one instance when you can review. Did the ball or did it not cross the line? I mean, just how it came off of the crossbar, I'd be surprised if it did cross the line, but we will take a look.
Justin Malou, the sliding shot, gets a ton of power, has Colin Shuttler beat, but doesn't even come close. Bounces back into the 6-yard box, but he gets a ton of power behind this. Has the keeper beat, but bounces a good foot in front of the end line.
And Sergio Gonzalez completes the check, says play on to Colin Shuttler. That would have changed the equation quickly. Mohamed Saeed, the freshman in the game, their lone goal scorer in their last win in the semifinal against Pitt. As they pour men forward, and that'll go out for a throw. Under 5 minutes here. Virginia up 3-1, all 3 goals in the last 25 minutes of play. Mayaka and DK. Mayaka in some surrounded by blue jerseys, and Afemafuna wins that battle and sends it deep. Happy Kamseyu got them what would be the game-winning goal, that second goal.
Clemson are just in desperation mode.
Brighton steps forward, nice combination play. Brighton's gonna get a shot, but it's wide. And what a wild second half. The first 45 was chippy. The last 20 minutes have been crazy. Axel Gunnarsson gets forward his first goal of his college career. And then Cabral Happy Kamseyu. He'll remember this forever.
What a goal. And then the celebration. The red card here. DK using his strength, causes him by to foul him, and then Afemafuna, the captain, steps up to the spot and scores the decisive goal for this Virginia team.
Things happened and happened fast, to say the least. Now that goal in the 82nd minute, the Happy Kamseyu goal, if you're a Tigers fan, you're going to feel pretty hard done. There was what seemed like a clear foul that allowed that opportunity to take place. Doesn't matter, though. It goes into the books as a goal. That put him up 2-1, and then that confusion at the back, the red card, Afemafuna gives him a 2-goal cushion with just over 3.5 minutes to play now.
Now we're going to see a lot of this. Clemson just sending the long balls, trying to play off the second ball, and UVA launching it, trying to get their numbers up. Hopefully, hoping that Philip Horton can get on the ball, hold it up, use his ability to just track down Clemson defenders.
Quick restart here. Barber's got Brighton in tons of space. His first touch let him down. Off the line is Shuttler for a huge save. Bad turnover by Happy Kamseu. Barber in space. Got options in front. Mayaka making the run to the right. Tried to play Robinson, who leading scorer on this team, third in the nation, has not been all that effective in his first game back from injury. Gunnarsson dragged down by Tanner Dietrich. Dietrich will be carded for that.
Yellow card. Clemson.
UVA looking for their 5th ACC Conference Tournament championship under George Gelnevach. He's been in this game 13 times, his record 4-8. You know he wants this one bad. And they're on the precipice of getting it done.
And now, let the time wasting begin.
Tick, 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 tick. Philip Horton goes to the corner and battles. Now Sergio Gonzalez says we're going the other way. This UVA team has only given up more than 1 goal all season. That was a 2-0 loss at home to Pitt when they were the #1 team in the nation. Gave up this first goal 20 minutes in, but right now, holding true to form, is the best defensive team in the country. Robinson, though, trying to nick one back, and his shot just wide. 70 seconds left. We talked about this game before we were on air, Charlie, about offense versus defense. Well, UVA, known for their defense, putting up 3 goals in a game. What was the difference here as you saw it unraveling?
The difference was Clemson not playing to their strengths. They weren't decisive in the final third. They weren't aggressive. When they were at their best this year, it was high press, putting defenders under an immense amount of pressure, causing them to give bad giveaways, bad decision making, and then punishing them on the turnovers. Today, they got the lead early, and they sat back. We've seen teams over the years change up their style of what got them there, and then all of a sudden...
Say gets a shot, an opportunity still loose, cleared off the line. 15 seconds left. And the countdown begins as Robinson's shot goes north of the goal.
You change your style, and then you lose what made you dangerous.
For the first time since 2009, UVA are ACC Conference Tournament champions.
Congratulations to the Virginia Cavaliers, the 2019 ACC Men's Soccer Champions. Fans place the crown for the award ceremony, set to begin momentarily.
Robin Afemafuna iced things for this Virginia team from the spot. He was part of that group in 2017 that lost the final. They lost in penalties to Wake, able to